48,913 dead Americans, and that's in 1 year. 38,084 the next. That's 10,829 people who are alive right now who would be in the ground. Fentanyl deaths down 22%, border seizures down 45% because the poison never made it in. And Fox had to run that as an exclusive. 10,000 saved lives, an exclusive. Fentanyl seizures at the border collapsed 45%, and nobody invented a miracle drug. Nothing changed in the treatment centers. What changed is President Trump closed the border and unleashed ICE in the cartel pipeline that Joe Biden and his DHS defended for 4 straight years got squeezed shut. Every sanctuary mayor, every op-ed writer who called the wall racist, well, they fought this. 10,000 deaths a year was the price. So stay with me because DHS put out a line tonight about the cartels that I want to read you word for word. And then President Trump stands next to Caroline Leavitt and reads off the receipts himself. We're talking about 10,000 Americans alive because somebody finally planned ahead instead of hoping. And planning ahead is the whole idea behind Noble Gold Investments. We've got midterm elections coming up, control of Congress on the line, and markets hate uncertainty. Uncertainty breeds volatility, and this could be the most volatile stretch for the stock market and the economy we've seen in years. And that's why I hold physical gold and silver to hedge that volatility. Noble Gold has spent over a decade helping everyday Americans protect your wealth with precious metals, and they make it simple, easy, and safe. Go to nextnewsgold.com or call Noble Gold at 877-646-5347. And for America's 250th, mention my name and get a free 10-ounce silver bar when you open a new qualified account. Don't let Election Day arrive without a plan. Now back to those 10,829 lives. We're talking about total overdose deaths down 14%, not just fentanyl. The whole curve bent. And DHS says it flat out, America's finally winning the fight against fentanyl. Finally. That word is doing a lot of work. Now watch President Trump run the rest of these numbers. A massive win to report. Fentanyl deaths plunging 22% in a year under Trump. 10,829 fewer deaths. Total overdose down 14%. The White House is clear. This is the post from President Trump that he made clear on Truth Social. Exclusive fentanyl deaths plunged 22% as Trump White House touts crackdown on deadly drug crisis, and he linked to the Fox News article. So Homeland Security is taking the victory lap on this one. Here's DHS and why Americans finally winning this fentanyl fight. This is what they posted. Thanks to President Trump, America is finally winning the fight against fentanyl. We'll never stop fighting to prevent this poison from infecting our communities and eliminate the cartels that profited off of the death of Americans. And they post this headline with the same story. And DHS dropped the Fox News report as well, the same one that the president also posted on Truth Social. Fentanyl deaths are only a piece of it. Trump grabbed the headlines from the last 24 hours and read them off himself. Tax refunds, violent crime, and the border. He dropped the receipts. Tax refunds up 17%. $43 billion more back in American pockets thanks to his tax cut. Violent crime, biggest drop in 90 years. Let's listen to the president on the tarmac today.
Sir, let me have that. So here are some headlines in Caroline. I got to stand next to her. I feel so good with her. These are incredible headlines that just came out over the last 24 hours. It's probably easier if I show them to you than reading them. But basically, the biggest refunds ever given on taxes. That's big. Trump bump. Tax refunds jumped 17%. American tax refunds increased by $43 billion. That's money that the government is giving back to the people. $43 billion. FBI had the biggest violent crime drop in 90 years. These are today's headlines. Trump administration marks 15 straight months with zero border releases as apprehensions fund. So they've never had anything like that. So you had 15 months with zero people going through our border.
Remarkable news right there, President Trump dropping the receipts himself. They never had anything like it. So you had 15 months with 0 people going to our border. That's what President Trump said, holding up the headlines right next to Caroline Leavitt. Apprehensions down 94%. 10,829 Americans breathing because of it. Joe Biden's people know what an open border costs. They counted the bodies every year, and they called enforcement cruelty anyway. So say that number with me. 10,829 people. That is an entire stadium section. That's every seat in a mid-sized arena filled with Americans who were scheduled to die last year and did not. And we're the ones that have to carry that number because Fox ran it as an exclusive and everybody else let it die on the vine. So let's carry it together. Say it to the coworker who calls ICE a hate group. Say it to your brother-in-law who still repeats that the wall doesn't work. 48,000 down to 38,000. Make them look at it. We're not asking anyone in the press corps to be honest anymore. I gave up on that, okay? We just got to get it out ourselves. We have to hand it to each other, and that's exactly how this next part works too. So DHS said it tonight. They're going to eliminate the cartels that profited off dead Americans, and I want you hearing that from inside the building, not from a headline 3 days late. Text White House to 844-840-4963. Next News Network holds credentials in that building, and what our people pull comes to your phone every night. No algorithm standing in the middle. And of course, reading it is step 1. Step 2 is being useful. Text Signal to that same number and enlist in the Next News Signal Corps. Real ranks, real missions. Everybody working off one board. Get in tonight.